how can we make our stories more available or more relatable to these Western communities who are already, used to this subtle messaging in their stories, instead of just, our Muslim parents or basically people we have to prove ourselves to.
I think so. A lot of us who filmmakers will actually live in the West. If we interact with non-Muslims, so if we come out of our circles and our bubbles that we have of Muslim community, and we interact with non-Muslims, not necessarily just filmmakers, but just normal non-Muslims, and speak to them and say, what are the values that you hold? What are the themes that affect you throughout the week? What are the things that you think about? What are the problems and issues that you have in your life? You probably find that 90% of the things they mention are going to be similar to Muslims who live in the West. They may deal with depression, they may with loneliness, they may be dealing with problems of relationships, love, husband, wife, mother, son, daughter, issues with self-value, self-confidence, things that have nothing to do with what religion or faith they are, but to do with them as human beings, and feelings and emotions that we have as just individuals who live on this planet. Once we realize that as Muslim filmmakers, and realize, okay, so if I can talk to this person about this issue of depression, and instead of maybe choosing a white character to play the role, I'll choose a Muslim to carry the role, but deals with the same issue, tries to overcome depression, tries to overcome loneliness, tries to overcome being 30 and having issues that everybody has, being 40 has issues everybody has, all of these issues. Then I think people will be interested to watch those films, and if they're really well made, they'll definitely watch those films. And once they watch those films and they see that the character is being played by a Muslim, they say, oh wow, so you also have issues with this, that I deal with. Well, of course, there's no difference between me and you. Inside we're the same, outside we're the same. The only difference is what I believe in, or how I dress, or how I hold my beard. But end of the day, I have feelings like you have feelings, and they're affected by me living alone, or not seeing my family, or my mother passing away, or my dad passing away, or something happened to my brother who's ill, or who might have died of cancer. Or these are things that affect all of us. Then they realize there is no boundaries. Those boundaries are invented. And once they realize those boundaries are invented, then they can connect. And as I said before, once you show the reality of Muslims to people, they realize there is no difference between you and us. You also have a dream of having a normal, successive, progressive family life, where at the end of it you can look back and say, I did good. Not 1.5 billion Muslims can't all be terrorists. If 1.5 million Muslims had the ideology of terrorism embedded in their religion, trust me, the world wouldn't survive. If only 20, 30,000 people around the world act as terrorists and they're causing so much havoc, imagine 1.5 billion people saying my religion is to cause havoc against non-Muslims. I don't think the world will survive. Doesn't make sense for people to think it's inbred within the religion. So if people understand that Islam is another faith, and it asks for people to be good, that's it, just to be good, then they realize that let's put the faith of you and me aside. Let's just deal with each other as human. Let me watch the films that you make, and maybe I can learn from them. As I said, I watched Logan, nothing to do with Muslims, and I took away from that. Made me think about my mortality, made me think about my relationship with my family, made me think about my even relationship with God, in a way, in the sense that I could get sick, and if I get sick, who's going to look after me? If I don't have family, or if I don't have children, who's going to look after me? So the only person left at the end of that who's going to look after me is God. So what is my relationship with God? I have to build this relationship. This comes from a film that had nothing to do with. So I think if we concentrate on themes that are universal between us as human beings, again, it's only a matter of time when we start making these films that it will just be part of the pop culture. And I think once we enter the pop culture, when I say pop culture, I mean the popular culture, the culture of the country that we have adopted, that we live in, that is normal. For example, I saw on one of the late night shows, a Palestinian comedian came on TV only a week or so ago, Mo Amer, his name is Mohammed Amer, and he did an amazingly funny sketch. He never ridiculed Muslims, which I really enjoyed, to get himself a laugh. But what he did was he raised some very interesting points, and I'll ask you to search, and at the end of his sketch, very skillfully, very beautifully, without insulting anyone, he raised the issue of, I have no Palestinian passport because for 60 years we've been trying to make our own nation and we haven't been able to do it. But he did it in such a beautiful, skillful way, and he was on a mainstream late night show, and it's only a matter of time if we keep progressing and producing. We enter popular culture. I mean, I don't think just filmmaking. I think we need to enter novel writing, storytelling. We need to enter, even, like I was saying about, I'm not into comic books. We need to enter comic books, make characters which are grounded within, say, Muslim themes and Muslim ideas, art, paintings and other stuff, animation, as much as the filming and documentary. But these things, poetry, music. I have a friend that I support a lot who makes beautiful music. Within his music, he talks about the faith. He talks about the personalities in the faith. He talks about God. He doesn't talk about, lustful love. He doesn't talk about, this girl and that boy, how made them. No, he talks about things that are positive. But it's music. And when I listen to it, I have the feeling of positiveness, goodness that comes from it. Makes me think about, my Lord. So there are so many things that we can be active in which are within the realms of art and popular culture that can affect the society. And I don't think it's just film. So if we encourage people to get into that, I mean, I don't say don't become a doctor or don't become an engineer, but I'm saying if someone within our community wants to become a writer, wants to become a novelist, wants to become an artist, wants to become a musician, I don't think as a community we should degrade him or say, oh look, my son, my daughter would never marry that guy, he didn't become a dentist or a doctor, we shouldn't look at people like that. We should truly, what the Holy Prophet taught us was to look at people when their action and their deeds and their intentions. If this guy is struggling hard to write something that will make people have a better perspective of Muslims, we should be encouraging him and supporting him or her, and not degrade him or make him feel bad. So this is, I think, an internal community thing we need to work on. And once we do that, it will automatically flow out, and that confidence and positiveness will go outwards. So our youth, when they want to come up into film and popular culture and art, they're not trying to hide it from their parents and trying to show it to their non-Muslim friends. They want to be proud to show it to their Muslim friends, and they want to be proud to show it to their Muslim parents and to the non-Muslims. So this confidence overflows. I think it's very important that we encourage that within our community.